Hi, my wise astrology tribe, Cosmic Insight Astrology. Welcome back to my channel. And here today, Krasi with me, and we're going to talk about actually Saturn and Neptune conjunction again, but we're going to do a little bit of different perspective because we want to always actually compare the sidereal astrology, the Babylonian astrology with the Western astrology, and we're going to talk about both again. So welcome back, Krasi. It's always, I
Thank
love
you.
to have you here.
Thank you, Krisztina. Yes, good idea. We will speak from the two perspectives. Neptune Saturn conjunction, very important beginning of a cycle, especially when we have trans Saturn in planet like Neptune participating in a cycle. It always has an impact on the world, on the collective, of course. When we were speaking before the recording, you mentioned important historical events. Yes, many other historical events which are associated with this Neptune-Saturn conjunction, always revolutionary,
Yes.
always revolutionary. And Krisztina, before this, I was thinking maybe we should mention another conjunction, which happened just a month before that, but also very significant. And this was a Rahu-Saturn conjunction.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like they pile up together, and it's really, let's look at them as one maybe, because I understood when you have Saturn-Rahu conjunction, interestingly enough, this conjunction can be described as if there is a war, it will stop. If there is no war, it may start. I know it's vague, but you could see how also the line of the Ukrainian-Russian war changed, and then you see it's always changing the the way, the routine, if you want, of the world, such conjunction. And then
Yes.
it is followed up by this one, which now is really they're very close to each other, almost sharing a degree, Neptune, Saturn. And in July, this will be very, very strong. I think mid-July, they are exactly conjoining in the 7th degree of Sidereal, Pisces.
Yes.
And maybe
We
now
have it
you
July
say,
15th, right? And it's only 12 minutes between, so it's not exact, because February 20, 2026, it's going to be exact. And we do have that actually in 1 degree Aries, obviously, and but yes, 7 degrees Pisces. But actually, the Saturn and North Node conjunction happened for us in 28 degrees, so it's happened for sidereal perspective also in Pisces in 3 degrees. I believe so. So that was something to do about the Pope. And as I said last year, on Lada's channel, I said the Pope going to die in April or May. And, it is Saturn and North Node conjunction, or actually it could be Saturn, Neptune, also when Neptune gonna go to Aries for us. By Western, obviously, that's also could be a change in Popism as well. And because of the North Node over there, it's representing a global and collective shift, and Saturn is always going to bring in challenge. Saturn is not all bad guys, because you have to know as above, so below in astrology. So it's destructive, yes. It is, a hardship,
yes.
obviously, a lot of challenge, war, death, cold planet, but also it's diligence and hard work as well. Without Saturn, we have no buildings, we don't have structures, right? So
Very true.
Saturn to demolish, actually, and Pluto, Saturn demolishing, and then there is the Neptunian fog. We can dream big, and then some good planet, Jupiter, comes in, and we can rebuild. So that's, that is the cycle. And yes, we were talking with Krasi right before I started the video, and I was mentioning actually the Saturn Neptune cycle in general. If you guys don't know, that is a synodic cycle. It starts with the conjunction, and it's always conjunct in another sign, because Saturn takes 29 years to go around the zodiacal cycle, and Neptune takes 164, right? Yes, 164. So when they meet together and conjunct every 36 years, so it's very rare. And
Very.
whenever we had, it's in different signs, obviously, and it's different for sidereal and it's different for Western. Sidereal is actually showing the Babylonian, the real sky pictures. However, I still find Western to work for me. I mean, I'm already deeply invested my knowledge again in sidereal as well. I started to do that. But yes, it's good to actually, but in general, you guys know when Saturn and Neptune conjuncted, actually we have the romantic novels, but those kind of um, um, weird romantic novels coming out in actually the 1843 and between 1864 as well. Victor Hugo and Dostoevsky was later, but we also had the American Civil War, and actually that was not the conjunction, it was the opposition, but the cycle starts with the conjunction all the time.
Yes.
And then, but definitely the conjunction actually brought in the 1846, it's both brought in socialism. So Saturn Neptune is either communism or socialism, and that was a huge communist party. The Marxist Communist Party was during the conjunction, and that's when actually we discovered Neptune. So, and they already conjuncted when we discovered, and then that was the Socialist Party, the Marxist. So I think that it's going to be something to do with socialism, communism, we will see.
Yes, it is certainly meaning like a second level of destruction of the social system as we know it, because the first level of destruction of the social system was in 2020 when Saturn and Pluto met. And it is even not so important. Yeah, it is important, but solely the fact that they met doesn't matter in which sign. Yes, it is important, but solely when they met, it is already a big deal. And it means that there will be something will go and in order something new to be built. And it is important to say, Krisztina, that these things don't happen overnight because these are very slow planets, slow cycles, valid for the next minimum 35 years, if not longer.
Mhm.
And yes, in the beginning, this is very intense indeed. And we saw it with pandemic situation, Saturn-Pluto conjunction. And also Pluto, when they started, and we have to look at these things as well, Pluto is the very core, the depth, the deep destruction. He's cleaning, from the inside. And Pluto is also related to the divine truth. So we see now the truth. And now when we are into this very important new cycle, which is Saturn-Neptune conjunction. And when we know that Neptune is in Pisces and he's so powerful, joyful, comfortable, ruling king there in Pisces, we know that there will be a lot of Neptunian energy. And Neptune in his higher vibrations is the divine love. Divine love, really. I would rather look at his divine vibrations because it is up to us to choose. It is really a matter of, to a degree, we have certain dose of personal choice and free will. Therefore, the more people tune into the high vibrational energy of this, the better for the collective, you see. That's why I'm saying this. Otherwise, indeed, Neptune can be craziness, can be many illusionary, tragedies, and can be also natural disasters with Saturn together in Pisces. Yeah. So if we look at the high vibrations of Neptune, when we know that he's so well positioned in Pisces, and we know that Saturn is not well positioned in Pisces because he's peregrine, he doesn't have any dignities.
Yeah.
We can conjunction of new spiritual energies, new gurus, if you want, new philosophies for the world. And this is happening again through revolution, because like we spoke with you earlier, always there is something revolutionary happening with this event, Saturn Neptune conjunction. Always something. Russian Revolution. It was also this Egyptian English, I think, war, and the wars you listed. Just name it. It's always revolutions and wars with these conjunctions.
Yes, and do you remember, I mean, the historical parallel, actually, Neptune and Saturn conjunction, we had the Opium War also. And then I think Uranus was in Gemini in the same time. And we also had it actually during the Second World War, or let me see my notes over here. But you know, guys, because of we have to, Uranus is revolution, and it's going to also sextile with Uranus, and it's gonna happen July 15th, the first conjunction.
Yeah.
It's 12 minutes away. It's not exact, but 12 minutes is very close. It's like, oh my God. And you know, like in Pisces, yes, for sidereal, that is something to do. It could be something with natural disaster. I do expect actually Florida going to have a lot of hurricane. Unfortunately, I saw that. Plus, because you mentioned Saturn North Node previously when it conjuncted actually in May or end of April, then actually we had, it's also going to indicate a 28 years of cycle over there, which is going to be intense hurricane season. But right now, 2 years definitely going to be very, very intense hurricane season. But yes, so there is definitely, and Neptune, yeah, Neptune is very illusional. It is also, you know, pretend or actually escapism, and escapism because Saturn is so heavy, and a lot of people, and it could be depression. And Saturn, for example, we cannot take the reality because Saturn is reality check. It's kick you in the butt if you don't listen. That's it. It's or actually I tell my children it's kick you in your teeth, you know, and then you have to wake up because that it gives you a huge concussion. And you know, Neptune doesn't want boundaries and illusional and borders. Saturn wants strict borders.
Yes.
And Saturn is like, wake up, what are you doing? You cannot be. So that's why I mentioned also the novelist, you know, Victor Hugo, and actually Edgar Allan Poe also, you know, that was very dark poem. So a lot of new poems are coming out during this time, but definitely, you know, it could be the like dark kind of about death and about, you know, love, but my love died, like typical Romeo and Juliet, you know, kind of situation over.
Very true. Very agree.
Mhm. Yes, but in Aries, it's a little bit different because we still have the Neptunian energy of Pisces, right? So there is a lot of similarity still, but Saturn is in fall in Aries, and Neptune obviously doesn't like heat, right? So it could indicate a lot of other kind of disaster, like iceberg can, you know, like collapse, or you know, like I just you told me last time, or I was reading that in the news there was a Swedish village under because of something broke down, and the snow covered the whole entire Swedish, not Swedish, Swiss village. So you know it could represent that kind of situation. Something is melting, something is going to be. The water temperature could rise, and if the ocean temperature rising, then it's going to bring in more tsunamis and hurricanes because that's what it is, you know, like then we going to have more of that. But definitely it's a total new philosophy. It's a total, oh my God, he cannot get off of you. So cute. He wants to play with, what's his name? I forget.
Yes. Bear.
But bear?
Yes, because he looks like a bear.
Mm. Probably he will look, I mean, he's only 3 months old, but he's gonna be like human goose, I think. Yes. So that was the historical parallel.
Yeah.
And, you know, like we had the American Civil War when it was opposing. So the synodic cycle
Oh,
is
see?
really, really,
Yeah.
for sure, of the.
Yes, and you know, also, Krisztina, Pisces, when you look at Pisces only, you know, the energy of Pisces, you see, we are still, the point of the vernal equinox is in the 4 degrees Pisces, and they meet in the 7th, sidereal coordinates, I mean. And this is too near this point. And this is very, and like you said, the first time they met in the 3rd, 4th degrees, exactly in the vicinity of this point. And when you say Pisces, not only that it is the collective difficult karma because of the 12th house nature, but also Pisces, we're still, yes, we're speaking about Aquarius era. True, we are already tuning into these energies, but literally, astronomically, we're still in the Piscean era. So it means this will have huge impact. When you speak about Pisces, it will always have huge impact on us, on everyone, every person on earth. Like change, transformation. It sounds like cliche, transformation this, transformation that, but we really live in eras era of transformations, major. You see how after 2020, the whole governments, the rulership, this was really changing. We don't say better came, but you see restructuring of the yes, change. And now I hope really for more spiritual governments coming, but it will not happen overnight because this is a cycle of 35 years. The question is when this will happen. Then we have to look at the, planets which come after, planets with maybe lower hierarchies, but the ones that come after. For example, I have hopes with, you say now tropically, Jupiter is in Cancer, I know tropically, but he will enter next year in the summer, in the late spring, Cancer. And then I have really hopes for more spiritual rulership because
more nurturing, because Jupiter in Cancer exalted, there is more nurturing, there is like very family oriented and small community oriented as well. That's what but for example, Saturn Neptune conjunction, the same time Saturn and Neptune square Jupiter. So, and Saturn Jupiter conjunction happened actually in 2021 December. And, started a cycle. Right now it's squaring. And that was, we called that like the Star of Bethlehem, Saturn Jupiter conjunction. Yeah, I just love it, Star of Bethlehem. But obviously there is an other spiritual inclination of not just like rising and like we are actually getting to another level, and obviously humanity never gonna go back to the dark age, even if we have a lot of war this year and next year, unfortunately, with this many kind of Saturn Neptune, and like even if Pluto is sextiling, but Pluto still destruction, and it's still challenge going to bring in. But I truly believe also the Saturn and Jupiter over there, it could, like create major issues, and especially on the stock market. And like you can see Neptune is oil and natural gas on the market in astrology, and also socialism and communism. But you can see what's going on, the war right now again, like Israel attacked Iran. And why? They have the biggest, the third on the earth field of oil, and they have a lot of uranium. What do you need uranium from? Uranus roads, but come on, it's spaceships, space mining, it is nuclear. I mean, we are not stupid. And that's what I like right now because of the awakening. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be difficult. As we were talking with Krasi before, guys, we love to garden, both of us. When we are depressed or feel down because of the news or whatever, we both go to our garden, and you should do the same. And I just plant a lot of flowers and see my little bees and I don't know, my butterflies, and I feed the birds and everything, because that's the only way you can like really take off your mind about this
Oh,
craziness.
yeah.
It's
And it's
there.
a remedy. It's a remedy. Also remedy. Saturn is ruling agriculture. It's a remedy also.
Oh, yes, you're right. The undeveloped land. And like then agriculture, and then you grow something. Okay, that's very good. Mm.
And also, you know, what you're saying reminds me of yesterday I was looking at the horoscope of Iran, and they have sidereal Pisces ascendant. And just imagine Saturn there. You had Saturn Rahu. This is really already like a start of some problem. And Saturn Rahu, like I told you, if there is no war, there will be war. And then you have now, see when it happened, Mars just entered, squaring Uranus, and they have
Yeah.
Saturn Neptune conjunction. And later on in the summer, I think it was August, there will be Saturn Mars opposition. This worries me
Yeah.
actually the most, the Saturn Mars opposition.
Yes. And it's going to actually, yeah, we're gonna have it in August 7th or something like that,
Yeah, exactly.
the opposition. And the other thing is, I did a video with Lada about that, but then her computer crashed, and I don't know, we
Oh,
created something. We still saved something, so it's gonna be on, but we did it right before the square. And like it's already started because I was predicting it's going to be a hit on Iran really soon, but whatever. So yes, but we also, Saturn Neptune is pandemic. Saturn Neptune conjunction, when we had that in 1917, we had the Spanish flu, guys. So we could be, like it was in a different sign, obviously, but the conjunction itself, it could be some kind of new flu coming in. And because Neptune also rules pandemic. But Iran, yes, I actually checked Iran also. However, I do have to say something over here, guys. When we did have the opium war, and because of Neptune rules pharmaceutical, it rules drugs, opium, cocaine, everything, and alcohol. When we had that during the conjunction in the 1800s, then Russia, Korea, China, and Iran was together and won against America, the US. So you just have to know the US have a Uranus return right now, really, really soon. When Uranus is changing sign, we're gonna have a lot of severe war. We it's going to be like very intense over here, and because whenever Russia, Iran, Korea, and China together, they always in history won against the United States. And that's what's gonna happen. If you
yes,
like me, you can delete me, whatever, but that's what's gonna happen because I'm always
yes,
going back historically. Like, okay, what was the synodic cycle? History, let's read it, let's analyze it, and that's what happened. And last time the conjunction was the peak of the conjunction was the World War I, and it's the Nazi Party already started to establish during World One, but later on, obviously, it took like 20
yeah.
odd years, but that's what happened.
Very good point. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I share your opinion. I also think, you know, they will win. Yes, this is without any doubt.
without any
Uh,
doubt. Mhm.
no doubt here. Yes. What else can we say about this conjunction? I'm thinking.
Um,
Um,
But let me see the conjunction. There is definitely the good parties that could happen. The Alcohol Anonymous also started during, like it's gonna be either some kind of regulation with alcohol, and it could be some spiritual. Bear doesn't just leave you alone. Some kind of definitely spiritual revolution over there, and it could be madness, obviously. It could be some kind, psychedelic LSD. There
ah,
was something with LSD and the mind control. Did you I was reading right now because I'm in the book club with Candice Owen, and I read the chaos and how they manipulated actually a whole entire generation with the make peace, no love. What was that? The hippies, Mhm.
So it happened with the same conjunction or the same synodic aspect?
Yes, it was actually a square but that time. But when the
Well,
conjunction was, there was something to do with LSD. They started to use LSD to manipulate people.
you see. Yes. You see, this is the interesting point. I like that you say this because you see, when the collective is in the low vibration of such types of important conjunctions, then we allow them to manipulate us through wars, through pandemics, through, for example, you see, look at even now at the entrance of Mars into Leo. You can imagine that Mars, who is the drive, and this can be a very beautiful drive, a motivation towards enlightenment, for example. Instead of this, because the collective is more into the low vibrational energies, war is happening, if most of us will be vibrating higher and will really tune into this enlightenment energy of Mars, would have been totally different. That's why it's really, we are responsible for the way we think, for which energies we connect to. This is very important. Same now with this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. We can opt for being afraid, being depressed, or dive into this amazing divine love, of Neptune. And no illusionary, spiritual. It can be really the true spiritual philosophy for each one of us.
Practice compassion.
Yes.
Because that's what it wants. It wants compassion, and it wants Saturn is like structurized. Collect something for the
Authenticity.
homeless. Yes, authenticity. Yeah, authenticity as well. It really, and because Saturn loves structure and like to, and Neptune is loved underprivileged, the affected by war. Yes, do something about it, and then you're not gonna be depressed. Collect, clothes for the homeless. Doesn't matter. The veterans in areas, for example, it could represent the veterans, the soldiers. Do something about it. In Pisces, definitely do something for the ones who are orphans or who are homeless, because it rules the homeless. But anyway, Neptune itself, because it rules Pisces, the conjunction even in areas going to definitely have similar, very, very similar effect, like in sidereal perspective as well.
Certainly.
So it's weird. That's what, because I'm a Buddhist, and in Buddhism, like, you are actually responsible for your human evolution and revolution, and how you're going to actually act on the daily challenge. And that is your decision the moment you wake up to decide, I'm gonna have a good day. Because 2/3 we are capable to change. 1/3 of our karma, it's divine, and we are not changing that. That's written, that's there. But you still can remedy, as you said. Go gardening, because it's agriculture. Go do something about that. Feed the homeless. Do something about, like to make the world better, and use the higher energy, the higher love. Neptune is divine love. Neptune is the love from the God. Whatever you believe doesn't matter.
And what is Saturn? High morals.
Yeah, high
moral
morals.
values.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Timing, discipline, moral values. Yes, so really it is very important for us now to stick to these high vibrational aspects of the two planets, not to the low. What is Saturn in his low manifestations? What is he? Fears, anxiety, deviation from morals and truths. You see, this is Neptune as well. Neptune has to do with deviation of truth too. Like you said, escapism. But that's why it's a matter of choice, really.
Well, in collective, when the collective is affected, obviously, that's totally different. I always tell that to everyone. In our personal life, we can create actually beauty over there, and together, when we pray together, we hold each other's hand, and the spiritual rise is coming from group and society. Obviously, it helps a lot, but on your own personal level, definitely you can make it a lot more pleasant. But Saturn, and definitely they're going to be some kind of spiritual leader, because Stalin died during Saturn Neptune conjunction. So, for example, there
Interesting.
could be a leader over there in Russia, not necessarily Putin, but someone who could be, like Stalin death was over there. And we did have a Korean War also. So obviously Korea going to, what we were talking about, that's no doubt about that they're gonna win against the US at this time right now. And you can see the BRICS nation also, they are very strong right now. They have their own currency. US going to have a Saturn return in their dollar. The US dollar gonna have a Saturn return, and the US has a Uranus return. So obviously it's chaos and things like that. But and you also have to always check what other aspects Saturn makes, and right now it's squaring with Jupiter, so market manipulation over there. That's obvious, and we feel,
Yes.
and and it's affecting the whole entire world, because guys, if US going to manipulate the market, it's affect the Mexican market, the German market, the Chinese, the Indian market. That's like just everything is because we co-woven together. So life is really interconnected. So that's
Very.
why, yeah.
And even this comes together with Saturn Jupiter square, which is valid now as we speak. So, needless to say, how afflicting this is to the financial markets.
Hmm.
But maybe this is another topic already, Krisztina. But
Yeah.
this is these things happen at the same time,
Hmm.
and in nearly the same degrees.
Nearly, yes, that's what I said. It was like, oh my God. Okay, so
Yeah.
we are squaring, then Uranus must squares the same time when Jupiter and squares Neptune and Saturn, and then we have the conjunction. What is going on, like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
a lot of, yeah, but and obviously we had a lot of Gulf War for oil during that time, when either it conjunction or square or opposition. So the cycle starts and it keeps at 36 years, but there is different kind of aspect between the two planets, and it's also always involved some kind of pharmaceutical or opium or drug war or things like that, and that's what's happened. But right now we are not blind, and I'm very happy about that. The collective is like opening and awakening. It's still, our voice still not very strong. It still tremble, and maybe we are not listened yet, but it will be stronger and stronger. Guys, look around. Everybody protest. Your country protest. My country protest.
Yes.
Everything. So it is, I'm telling you, it's going to be a major revolution over here, and I quite like it, because we cannot close our eyes anymore. We cannot stay silent anymore. Obviously, because of Neptune is spiritual people and Saturn is censorship, so I might expect something like they're gonna not monetize our videos. I already get a lot of warning from YouTube, like, oh, it's too many, conflict and war you mentioning, and they're not monetizing my videos. I was like, whatever. But censorship is real, guys. I just want to tell you, they try to stay like silence us. They don't.
Totalitarianship is
Mhm.
this. Yes, yes, yes. And
Yep.
this is, I know, it's really, really very sad. But yes, the other side of this revolutionary Saturn Neptune conjunction are all these protests and eventually revolution, like the Russian Revolution, which happened with the same, conjunction. So we will see. But we're living in very interesting times. I thought 2020 was interesting. Wait until 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew. It was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Pluto, Saturn gonna conjunct? No way. And then I was starting to research the historical parallel. I was like, oh, the world gonna stop. And I remember my client said, like, are you crazy? They cannot stop the whole entire world. I was like, I don't know. They're gonna stop us. And and the
And I
moment
did.
yes, and then I got a lot of people calling because at the beginning they thought I'm totally crazy. Oh, the rose is so beautiful in the garden. Oh my, that is roses, right? Behind you. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely.
thanks,
Yeah,
Krisztina.
so guys, it's going to be and because I also somehow Neptune could be drug Neptune Saturn conjunction could be something to do with drug cartel leaders, right? And because Neptune is drug and Saturn is the leader, so something to do with cartel and drug, something like they going to diminish them or imprison them or something. War criminals going to go to prison. I do see that, and that's a good news.
Yes,
Like that.
yes,
I definitely like that. But and on the other hand, because Neptune is film and making and photography, a lot of documentary, a lot of beautiful art, like most likely I believe people going to talk through art and it's gonna be a Saturnian flavor, just as I said, Edgar Allan Poe. So it's going to represent wars and like massacres or whatever, but somehow they're going to make sure we see it and we're not closing our eyes anymore. That's definitely.
yes.
So
That's
I don't
so.
know.
I agree.
What else do you think?
Yes, yes, these are the main things, these revolutionary, interesting events mentioned in art. Very true. Since the very beginning of the passage of Neptune into Pisces, I was thinking about fine art indeed, fine. And now when Saturn entered, would be another type of art, like you said, with Saturn in flavor, maybe with something more precise, more mathematical, if you want, more historical because of Saturn, old, antique, something
Yeah.
from antiquity. Will be interesting, but anyhow, it can indeed have impact on art. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely think something historical because people don't want to lose their authenticity, their historical uh, what is that inheritance of a country. And we are really concerned about that. So maybe there will be something, okay, custom movies again. Or what is represent. Yes, I truly believe that could be something
When
what's
you say this, you know what I think? Iran is so ancient, so special, so authentic, and they have this um, art which you see nowhere else, the Persian art. And unfortunately, and this art could be really represented by this Neptune Saturn energies. And unfortunately, this is conjunction is happening on their sun. And I hope this will not really concern or affect the beautiful, amazing ancient art that you can see in Iran.
yeah.
They don't destroy these artifacts like they did, when remember Mosul in Iraq,
Yes.
when we changed mini cycles and the dodecatomodes, of the Babylonian astrology were changed, and then you had this destruction of amazing artifacts in Iraq. I hope this is not going to happen in Iran. It will be very sad for the world. Also in Israel, these sacred places, the amazing Jerusalem, and no, this is even sad topic to start.
Yeah.
Krisztina. I
Yeah,
hope
it said, I hope, I pray. I just gonna chant and pray and chant and pray.
yes,
It
that's
stops
the
and no
best.
more human life because I'm just the very sad about that. But yeah, the art could be, I hope not, because, you know, the beautiful Persian rugs and the way they make it. Actually, I just checked the documentary about that, and you know how they, and oh my God, it's unbelievably beautiful, and
Yes.
so much energy and so much hard work, and I don't want that to disappear. I mean,
No, 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 no.
so yeah, hopefully, you know, we going to be okay, but definitely there is a major shift in our karma. That's very karmic. It's really deep, you know, it's very revolutionary, and I hope we going to be capable to rise together with our
Yes,
chanting, with our prayer, or you know, whatever we need to. But we are.
yes, yes.
So yes, that's what we wanted to actually bring that for you guys, you know. For example, the square and opposition, I also wanted to just mention a few things over here. We had by the square, we had Trump elected, the Saturn Neptune square, and then also the Joker movie came out, you know, by that square as well. So you will see a lot of the Matrix also
Oh,
considered.
interesting.
Yes, but that was previously in the
Belonging to the previous cycle. Yeah.
yes, it was the previous cycle, but you know, you will see a lot of movie which going to be like, you know, like shaking you in the core, like what's going. Because let me tell you, Joker is one of my favorite movie, but also Matrix. It made me think like,
Oh, yeah. It was eye-opening indeed.
oh, what's going on? So we're gonna have some kind of movies like that coming out, and we hopefully you will enjoy it. Yeah, so that's what we wanted to bring for you. But Neptune Katrina also happened during an opposition, Neptune Saturn opposition. So obviously they're gonna be more
Natural
hurricane
disasters.
related.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So just get ready. Be prepared. I always tell everyone, if you prepared, if you know your enemies, if you prepared, the destruction going to be actually not that challenging, and you can rise spiritually easier. You can rise above and always help, always do remedies, gardening, feeding the homeless, feeding the veterans, whatever you want, but you know, taking on an orphan or whatever you can, and you will be actually bringing the positive out from this. Could be difficult conjunction,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
All
So
right, guys, we will be back, right? But did you mentioned we should do Saturn Neptune uh, square next time, right?
maybe or Jupiter Saturn square. Important major.
Oh, Jupiter Saturn, yes, yeah.
Yes. We can discuss this one. It's also another very important event on the sky.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that in 10 days or something. Guys, we are coming back with Krasi, and we're going to just talk like a podcast, like just, you know, talking about a prediction what could happen inside real, and obviously in Western as well. We're gonna compare the two together. And because it's in early degrees, obviously it's, you know, like very important, because that's an initiation. It starts something. It's very
Yeah.
karmic. The early degree is also really, really karmic as well. And thank you so much for listening and being here with us and sharing. And you can go on, I'm gonna put Krasi's website underneath so you can have a reading with her, or you can go on her channel as well and subscribe. And next time we're going to see you guys. Before now.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Krisztina.
All right.